Alright guys, so let's get the contest entry requirements out of the way right from the get-go so we can get to this review. So the requirements are very simple. You have to like the video, you have to share the video on Facebook, and you have to leave a comment that talks about the differences between traditional and compound bow archery and the pros and cons of each for either a grid down, emergency, or survival situation. Now obviously guns have the advantage over most compound bows and traditional bow systems. However, with the compound bow in particular, I think that there's three main areas where it excels. One is in terms of the stealth factor. You can defend or hunt in stealth if you had to. Number two is going to be the reusable ammo factor. You can use the same arrow to hunt dozens if not 100 times if you maintain it properly. And the third thing specific to the compound bow is accuracy. Compound bows are simply much more powerful and more accurate at a longer distance than a traditional bow. The contest deadline is going to be June 30th, 2016. Don't miss this opportunity to participate. It will only take you 1 minute to add yourself to the eligible list of hopefuls. So good luck. Now let's get to the review.
You see that? There he is. Be quiet. They spook very easily. There he is. What the hell? He's Canadian. Well, he'll be an easy target. Let's get him.
Stole my hat, you son of a bitch. I want it back. Boom! Death from above. I mean, on the same horizontal plane as you.
This is why you should never mess with a Canadian prepper. Yeah, you. Give me my hat back. Thief. Alright, I want to start off by saying that I'm by no means an archery expert, much less a compound bow expert. I've shot a few recurves in my day, but I've never shot a compound bow, so I have nothing really to compare this to, but I can tell that it's built very well, it's built very durable, and you know, I've done a lot of gear reviews, so I know when something's crap or not. Now, the thing that I like about this package, and the thing that I think where you're going to find its niche, is in the beginner archery market. Basically, for I think the damage is about $700. Don't quote me on that. I'm going to post the exact amount in the description. People are going to step back at that, but you got to keep in mind that for a complete compound bow set, as far as I know, to build it all yourself, you're probably looking at about $1,000 to get something decent. Now, this gives you everything you need, from the case, the quiver, the sights, the peep sights all set up. Everything was all set up on this. You got some dampeners, some silencers on there, all sorts of fancy stuff on this, and I'm going to go over in more detail. You get broadheads, you get 6 aluminum arrows, 6 carbon arrows. You pretty much get all the tools that you need to change this. It's all adjustable. You don't need a bow press to change the draw length or the poundage, so you can adjust the strength of this.
Alright, we're going to try to shoot this son of a gun again. You guys say 40 plus yards. The deer, you know, it's a natural camouflage. The earth tones, it forces your eyes off. So practicing with targets is fine, but to really simulate the real thing, you should get yourself a 3D target. And that's just going to train you to shooting something that looks like that in that place where you want it to be shot, in its vitals. So I'd strongly encourage 3D targets. This one, I'll post a link in the description. It was about $90 on Amazon, which is cheap in terms of 3D targets. Usually they're between, you know, $150 to $250. Well, I think that was a lot better than last time. By the looks of things, it's a much tighter group, but still not placed dead center. That's where I want it. So I'm going to keep working on it.
So if you're talking like long term, like you never want something to break down, the end of the world as we know it, obviously, you know, something that's more primitive in its nature, like the SAS tactical bow, primitive in the sense that there's less moving parts, it's less complicated, and there's less stuff to potentially break down, then yeah, you're probably going to want to go with that. But for everyday practical purposes, for hunting, I mean, this is something you can actually go hunting with confidence. I mean, I'm hitting the vitals on this deer at 40 yards out, something that I couldn't do with any consistency with a recurve bow, at least not at this time in my training. I'm sure some people can, but the problem with that is that you're not getting the same power. So this is going to be at least, probably, I'm guessing about 300 feet per second compared to a 200 feet per second on a full draw perfect shot with the recurve type bows, the traditional bows. All right, so in terms of the parts of the bow, you have a string guard here, your string loop, you have your peep sight all put in there for you already. You have your cams, which have adjustable setting there. I don't know if you can see that on there, but that's for your draw length. You have some anti-vibration integrated technology there. You can read up about that on the Apollo Tactical website. You have your sling for your wrist. You have a stabilizer, pretty fancy one at that. You have your adjustment bolts. So right now, the closer that gap is between there, basically the higher the poundage, and it goes up to 70 pounds. And what else do we got here? Yeah, so you got your rest, your arrow brush rest, and it comes with a quiver, all your burger holes to put all your stuff in. You got your string suppressor there, or string dampener, sorry. So much terminology that I'm still starting to get familiar with that compound bow. But you pretty much have everything you need right out of the box, and it was almost perfectly sighted in when I got it. I did have to make a few little adjustments, but that could have just been from transport. I don't know. This is made out of a billet aluminum. If you don't know what that is, I'd encourage you to check it out. It's not all aluminum is created equal. It's a very strong aluminum. It's very dense. It's not porous at all. So it's a solid brick of aluminum that's CNC milled. And so you know it's going to be built to last. It's not going to warp. It actually has a little UV, I think it's a UV light that shines on these sight beads here, and that will help you if it's too dark out to see, you know, what you're shooting at. About 20 yards out here, we've got the advantage that the light's behind us, so it illuminates the target well, which is good for me because I have poor vision in one eye, my shooting eye. Regardless, looks to me like 5 kill shots from 20, maybe 25 yards. I think in terms of practicality, I've been thinking a lot more practical lately. Like I got rid of the Jeep, I'm getting the truck, you know, I'm switching over to the compound bow simply because it's more practical. So this is something you're gonna actually be able to use. It's not just bug out survival fantasy. You know, I understand why people would want recurve bows. They're simpler. You can make your strings. You know, there's less moving parts, so they're less liable to break down.
Whereas with a compound bow, it's very similar to a crossbow or a firearm in that, you know, you get them in your sights and you shoot. And typically speaking, I'm getting acceptable groupings at 30 to 40 yards, which for me is probably as far as I would venture to shoot with a bow like this, at least in my early stages of my bow hunting career. The first time I'm going to try it out is actually going to be this year.
Damn good bow as far as I can tell. I got no problems. If I do, I'll definitely update you guys. But if you want to get one of these, I'll post a link in the description. I think it is far more practical than, you know, a recurve bow for most people.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned because after this string of gear reviews that I've done over the past month, it's going to be all about a pocket talk. So thanks for watching. Canadian Prepper out.
Check out the Canadian Preppers Network blog, an excellent resource for survivalists and preppers.